literature. I went to Google to see if I could greet you all, my new Azerbaijani friends. So salam, and minute
Oh,
daram for in asking me to be with you this morning. As Dr. Nargis said, who, by the way, is a whirlwind of a powerful person, and how lucky you are to have her leadership among you as both a colleague and I'm sure as a friend. I'm the director of the Institute for Research on Women and Gender at the University of Michigan. I began my position a year and a half ago, but I have long been, I have a long history with both the university and the institute that we just called IRWG. I began graduate school at the University of Michigan in 1995, the same year that the institute opened its doors. It began when several pioneering women's studies faculty members organized themselves and approached the president of the university to establish a new university structure to meet the unmet needs that the president had identified in what he called his agenda for women. The creation of this agenda for women was precipitated by the numerous accounts of discrimination and hostile work environments and pay inequality by women faculty across the institution. The Department of Women and Gender Studies, founded in 1973, was already established as an interdisciplinary program dedicated to excellence through feminist research, teaching, and activism. The Center for the Education for Women, which had been founded 10 years before, helped women in the community and students achieve their professional and educational goals. Yet, by the 1990s, more than 20 years after the university heralded a new era for women, there was no unit to strengthen and focus the many faculty research projects related to women and gender that had emerged at the university. Scholars often worked in isolation and were unknown to each other. The faculty pointed out to the then president, quote, in order to compete effectively for a role in the national and international discussion of significant issues affecting women, we must create an institutional structure that can bring together the disparate faculty research efforts at the university and focus them in significant program areas, as well as stimulate needed research on understudied problems demanding new or better scholarship. IRWG is the institutional manifestation of the University of Michigan's commitment to being a leading institution for the study of women and women's issues. With that goal, the Institute was established with three main functions: to provide an institutional umbrella for ongoing faculty research efforts, focusing on women and gender, and then later we added sexuality, offering coordination, stimulation, and support for effective interdisciplinary research, and heightening the university's profile as a major source of knowledge on women and gender. For 30 years, IRWG has been a lighthouse, a refuge, and a pioneer for scholars at the University of Michigan whose research is focused on women and gender. We currently have 250 affiliates from more than 80 departments at the University of Michigan. By any metric, IRWG has exceeded expectation in supporting the production of feminist knowledge and research and interdisciplinary collaborations. Yet, all over the world, there is a shift to the right, and much of that shift is in response to decades of progress for women, racial and ethnic minorities, and queer and trans folks. The documenting of the lived experiences of women, the theories of power, and the calls for inequality that our predecessors and we ourselves have engaged in is under very real attack. Those in opposition have questioned the value of the work that we do, but we know the lives that have been saved by our efforts to fight against gender-based violence, to improve educational outcomes for girls and women, to provide competent health care for women, to demonstrate the working of power and law that inhibit true gender equality, to create economies that value the artisanal and cultural products that have been handed down woman to woman for generations. I could go on with this list, but as a colleague said to me, as we find ourselves once again thinking about how we can resist the most recent force that opposes our work, we must remember that resistance is fertile. It provides us with an opportunity to flex new methodological muscles, to formulate new questions, and to figure out how to stand against the opposing winds while we figure out how to take further steps forward. In 30 years that the Institute for Research on Women and Gender has been in existence, we have done this by taking 3 basic steps. 1, we organize. We remain committed to our call to bring scholars together, no matter their gender, as long as they are focused on women, gender, and sexuality, and that they are interested in how we understand the lives of women. The second thing is we focus on our mission. And our mission is to engage in rigorous and robust research, that we follow both the methodological requirements of our disciplines, but also bring in those tools from other disciplines that allow us to answer the questions that are urgent to the people for whom we are interested. And the third and most important thing, I think, is that we have to believe in the work, because we know it's important, that we cannot wait for outside affirmation to continue us to go forward. I again want to say thank you, Minute Darum. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Just reading about the papers that will be presented and the folks who are participating in this meeting, and with the visionary leadership of Dr. Nargis, I know that we can do our part in our time to continue this important work. I would like to close with a quote from Loretta Ross. Loretta Ross is a Black American leader in the fight for civil rights and reproductive justice for Black women. And she said, quote, "One thing we say in the civil rights movement is that don't imagine that you are the entire chain of freedom. The chain of freedom stretches backwards towards all your ancestors and forward towards all your descendants. Your only job at this moment is to make sure the chain of freedom doesn't break at your link. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Don't fail to step up to the challenge of keeping the chain of freedom intact. Even though you may not be alive to see the outcome, take a lot of pride in the fact that you kept that chain intact." I stand, I work, I hope, in solidarity with you all as we, in the places where we are in our work together, we try to keep the chain intact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Melinda, for making the global call for the woman as well, the female researcher. It's a great pleasure for us for the hosting you and for your great speech as well. And I would like to ask our researchers, do you have any questions for our professor? And if you have, you can just ask directly her, give your questions by raising your hand, please. We have 5 minutes for discussion for sure.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. It was wonderful listening to you, Professor Melinda Price. I have just one simple question. What strategies you would like to suggest that should be included while going through a recruitment process in order to, bring this gender equality, or let's say bringing women empowerment? So what is your opinion?
So for academics, I think you have to one of the things I have done throughout my career, which is the worst advice I could give to busy women, is to say to do more. But anywhere I can, if there is a committee that chooses the next leader of anything at the university, I try to make sure that someone whose values are aligned with me and my center are on that committee. And it breeds a lot of extra work, but you have to be in the room in order to be in order to make sure that the people who are making decisions about you and about people like you understand that your value is important. It also gives you a heads up and knowing those people before they come to campus, right? And then you begin making the case from the very moment that you interview them of why you're important and why there needs to be more of you. The other thing is we have to attract students early in the process and create pipelines that you have to begin identifying students very early on and saying to them, even when others may not think that the kind of research that we do is important, you have to say to them, come, sit, talk to me, have tea, have coffee. Let me explain to you the work that we are supposed to be doing. Let me explain to you why it's important, right? So you have to both be advocating above and making sure that you are bringing people along with you, because there will be things in our lives that will make us have to step back from the fight, right? We will have children. Our parents will need care. This is the stage I'm in at my age. I have a child. My parents will need care. And we have to sort of tag team like a relay race and say, okay, I have done my part. But you can't do that if you're the only one, or if there's a front line of women who have exhausted themselves with no one behind them to step forward. So that's what I would say. You have to constantly be inserting yourself in questions above and explaining why people like you need to be in the decision-making rooms. The other thing I would say is that you have to step up to leadership, and you can't be quiet about it. You have to say boldly and out loud that I want to be a leader in this institution, in my community, and that I have the skills and the necessary vision in order to do that. I guess those are the suggestions I would make.
Thank you so much, Melinda.
Thank you.
So, any questions? If you have any questions, just reach, because professor is very busy and she invests her valuable time
I
for
have a
us.
question.
Yes? Yes,
Yeah, I
sure.
have a question. Very good afternoon. It is Sayyeda Nada Qadri. I'm a research scholar from AMU, Aligarh Muslim University, India. And I had this question that you talk about, women empowerment, but how possible in the global south? And in the global south, how women's voices are being shut down, and there are a lot of cultural barriers, religious barriers. Society is very conservative. For example, Afghanistan and Pakistan, many other countries. So, how do you think women can actually take up leadership roles? Do you think it's practically possible to come out of, because you staying in the United States, you have all the privilege in the world, but what about women in the global south or other countries where women don't have a voice?
Well, I'm sorry I did not catch your name, but I understand.
Sada, yeah.
Sada, I understand and I hear what you are saying. And I apologize if my comments may have seemed insensitive
No, no,
to
no,
that
no.
experience.
But
But
yeah,
I say this.
I was just asking.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last part.
I said your comments are absolutely fine, but I was just asking you, like, what should we do in the global south? How to take up leadership? Yeah.
So I will say that I am privileged to have been born in a generation of Black women in this country for whom the life that I live is possible. And I think about for all the women before me who were not possible and the things that they did. And I think one of the things that I was told once by a woman who had been a leader in the civil rights movement in the 1960s, a Black woman leader. And she said, you have to keep laying the ground and developing the skills for when the moment comes. And I think about that all the time for people who find themselves in marginalized communities, even within the United States, right? There are hierarchies of privilege here as well. And you just have to keep developing the skills and creating networks with each other so that
Right.
when the moment comes, which we hope it will, that you have
Yeah.
created enough resources and collaborations with each other that you can give you each other comfort, you can acknowledge the experience that you're having, and be prepared if the moment arises where things may be different. But it's a hard thing to do, right? When one
Yes.
is sort of in facing forces, right, that work against you. And there are people within this country for whom even my life seems inaccessible, right? And the kind of voice that I have. But you just have to keep within the spaces where you are, within your homes, within your community centers, within your women's groups, think about and have the discussions of how you imagine the world to be, and then keep doing the small things that you can to move forward in that vision, right?
Okay. All right. Thank you
So
so much.
much.
That was
Very
amazing.
welcome.
Very well said. Thank you, Professor Melinda. Thank you
So
very much.
if there is no any questions, we can just give a time for Melinda Price, just if she's busy with some kind of, like the academic stuff. Thank you so much, Melinda, for your
Well, thank
valuable
you.
time. We really appreciate it on behalf of the Women Researchers Council and our university. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
It's the first thing in the morning here
Yeah,
for both,
exactly.
for both Nargis and I.
We
Thank you
are
so
morning
much.
person right now. Only us, I think.
Thank you all so much and have a beautiful day with each other.
Thank you so much. So, guys, the researchers, you are always open to the Melinda because Melinda, as I mentioned, that is the Institute for the researcher and the director of the Institute for Research on Women and Gender. So, in the coming future, we will also have some kind of joint consortium and also the scientific collaboration. And if you need any kind of mentoring or something, you could also collaborate with the University of Michigan, the Institute for Research on Women and Gender as well. So, here is the Melinda Price email. You could also take, and actually I do believe that you will have we will provide the internationalization of the sciences and the woman empowerment in education and also the science. I think that we could do more together and we will be stronger together as well. So thank you so much, Melinda, again. So I would like to move to the panel session. So now I would like to introduce Professor Ramona Rupeka Apoga, the Professor of Finance and the Head of the Finance and Accounting Department at the University of Latvia. Let's say like the heart of the Baltic states, and also the Research Fellow of the Women Researchers Council of the Azerbaijan State University of Economics, UNEC. She will be talking about the smart money, strong economy, the power of financial literacy. Thank you so much, Ramona. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Hello. First of all, I would like to check you can hear me well.
Could you make your voice a bit up because I think it's coming from a little bit. Yeah, so we see your presentation. Thank you.
Yes, but then, like I understand there is not enough voice.
Yes, now it's going to be higher. Yeah.
So now it's better.
Now it's better. Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
So you can make broad your presentation.
I'm increasing it's at least
Yeah.
in my computer. But otherwise, yes, it's like you can hear me. That's good. I will talk maybe more loudly. So it's a great honor for me to be today with you and discuss a topic that is not only crucial for our personal growth, but also for the advancement of our society as a whole. And today I will discuss the importance of financial literacy, the gender disparities that exist, and how women researchers are contributing to this field. So let's take a closer look at some important facts. So according to S&P Global, 2/3 of adults worldwide are not financially literate, which is a noticeable gap, gender gap, So 35% of men are financially literate compared to 30% of women. The Eurobarometer last year highlighted the need for financial education, especially targeting women, younger people, and those with lower income and education level. Also, OECD survey show women consistently score lower than men in financial literacy measures. These statistics underscore the urgent need for targeting financial education intervention to bridge the gender gap. So our financial independence is shaped by our ability to find work, working conditions, financial literacy, financial security, professional competencies, and opportunities for development. According to Eurostat data, the average payment per hour is still significantly higher for men compared to women, except in Luxembourg. We often work in lower paying sector like retail and education, while men dominate higher paying fields like IT and communications. Significant income gap exists even in sectors with high female representation, such as healthcare, due to difficulties in obtaining senior positions and pay disparities. These disparities highlight the systemic issues that contribute to the gender pay gap and the importance of addressing them through financial literacy and policy changes. Some consideration about us and our relation with money. Investment confidence. So only 90% of us are very confident in our ability to invest money, comparing to 35% of men. Investment strategies. We are more likely to adopt a buy and hold strategy, what is a passive one, while men prefer more active investment strategies that provide also higher income. Historically, men have been more likely to invest, but the gap is narrowing as more women become interested in investing. And also retirement savings. Our retirement accounts lag behind men's by up to 44% due to the gender pay gap and lower investment participation. However, despite these challenges, we have unique strengths. So first of all, in risk management, as we women tend to be more risk averse, leading to more cautious and well thought out investment decisions that in long run usually provide better results. We share collaborative spirit. We are more likely to seek advice and collaboration with financial advisors, so what men are not usually doing, and it's again, it's plus for us. And we are strong in long-term planning. We often focus on long-term financial goals and securities compared to men. So these strengths can be powerful advantages in the financial world, leading to more stable and sustainable financial outcomes in the long run. Traditionally, finance and business have been seen as fields dominated by men. So how can we change this narrative? My answer is that more women need to pursue education and careers in STEAM fields. However, there are barriers we need to address. Unfortunately, women often face biases and discrimination in STEAM careers. This can be anything from not being taken seriously to missing out on promotions. As well, there are not enough female roles models in STEAM. Without mentors, it can be tough for young women to see themselves in this field and get the guidance they need. Balancing a demanding STEAM career with family life is a big challenge. The intense nature of these jobs can make it hard for women to stay in the field, especially without support. So addressing these challenges through mentorship programs, policy changes, and supportive work environment is crucial for improving women in STEAM fields. So what can we do? So I think it's important to provide financial education that is specially designed for us. This will help us feel more confident and knowledgeable about managing our money. Connecting with mentors and peer groups can create a supportive environment. Mentors can offer advice and encouragement, helping us feel more empowered in our financial decisions. And also recognizing and celebrating our financial achievements can inspire others. When we see other women succeed, it boosts our confidence and motivates us to achieve our own financial goals. I'm quite a fan of Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and his insights on financial education have been incredibly influential. One of the key concepts he discussed is the rat race. So the rat race is basically this endless circle where people work hard at their works, earn money, spend it all, and then do it all over again. It's like running on a hamster wheel. You're always moving, but never really getting anywhere. Kiyosaki says this keeps people stuck, always chasing financial stability, but never quite reaching it. And to break free from this circle, Kiyosaki came up with a cash flow quadrant. It's a way to look at how we can earn money divided by 4 parts. So the first one is employee. You work for someone else and earn a paycheck. Stability and predictability are key benefits here. You often have a steady paycheck, health benefits, and retirement plans. For example, a surgeon in a hospital or a professional athlete can earn substantial incomes, sometimes more than many small business owners. Another group is self-employed. You work for yourself. Being self-employed offers greater control over your work and the potential for higher earnings based on your effort. You have the flexibility to set your own schedule and choose your projects. This can be very rewarding for those who value independence. However, if you stop working, your income stops too. You can be a business owner. You can build a system that generates income even when you are not actively working. This can lead to significant financial rewards and the ability to create jobs for others. The potential for growth and scalability is a major advantage here. And finally, you can be an investor. And this allows your money to work for you, generating passive income. This can provide financial security and freedom, enabling you to focus on other pursuits or retire comfortably. The power of compound interest and smart investment choices can significantly grow your wealth over time. It's important to recognize that success can be achieved in any of these quadrants. Not everyone feels comfortable being a business owner or self-employed, who's included myself. That is, I think, is perfectly well. Each role has its own strengths and challenges. However, I believe that we all need to be investors. So investing allows your money to work for you instead of working for it. So this means that through smart investments, you can generate passive income, which gives you more freedom and flexibility in your life. Whether you are an employee, self-employed, or business owner, being an investor can help you achieve financial independence and security. So in conclusion, we are different, and I believe our weaknesses can be turned into our power. By gaining financial literacy and confidence, we can break free from this circle and create a more secure and prosperous future for ourselves. Building financial confidence among us women is about providing the right education, support, and recognition. By focusing on tailored financial education, connecting with mentors and peers, and celebrating our success, we can empower ourselves to take control of our financial futures. And remember, every step we take toward our financial literacy not only benefits us, but also creates a positive ripple effect on our communities and for future generations. Let's continue to support each other and celebrate our achievements along the way. So that's
Thank you so much,
on my side.
Professor Ramona, for your nice speech. Actually, we know that some of the people do not have some kind of background and the knowledge of what is a woman empowerment in the fintech and also the finance sector. It was really knowledgeable. Thanks for the information and for our researchers as well. So if you have any question, you can reach directly your question to the professors. Maybe your feedback, it could be some kind of recommendation, insight question, which you deliver. Or maybe you have some kind of research in this field, in the finance sector, and you would like to ask some kind of questions on that.
Hi,
Yes,
just
Kiran and Alina, please.
hi
Who is
Ramona, how
first?
are
Who
you?
is first?
I wanted to talk to you. I have no question. Frankly speaking, that's wonderful to see you and listening to you. I have no question. I just wanted to say one thing that listening to that quadrant of cash flow, that was really interesting. I never heard of this. So, one insight I am taking from your presentation, that was a wonderful example which you have given by Robert. That's really wonderful. I just wanted to say this. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So the next is Alina. Alina, I think that she's in also the finance sector from Romania.
Hello, everybody. Ramona, thank you for your presentation. Thank you, Melinda, for your presentation, if you are still here. I want to congratulate you. Yes, it is a pleasure to hear you all. Thank you, Nargis, for organizing this event. Yeah, I have a short question, let's say. Ramana, do you think we need a change in the university curricula, or not only at this level, to increase financial literacy of women? And score more like men in this kind of evaluations. Do they what they need to assume and increase and involve in financial decisions for their independence and success?
I think that it definitely depends on different countries, because in Europe, we as a female are quite free to do, and I think we are quite educated. And also, when I see my students in finance, we have half of girls, half of boys, and I don't see there is a big difference. But talking about other countries, I think it's more problem for women to get this financial knowledge, and of course also to get some access to financial funds as well, because when you start investing, you need financial resources too. But the idea behind this financial literacy is that even starting with small amount of money, I understand that it's not like you can at once produce a large amount of money, but it's still like you can go to kino, to cinema, you can go to restaurant and spend some money, but you can save this 10 euros, 20 euros, and try to invest, and now investment possibilities are very friendly for small investments. Of course, you will not earn some return from small investments, but you can earn knowledge how to do it. And then in the future, if you still continue trying, especially like cryptocurrency are coming, and there is a big chance, of course, to lose your 10 and 20 euros at once, but still there is a chance that maybe you will earn something, but you definitely will need, you will gain knowledge. And I think that we have to experiment, and that was said with previous speaker, yes, in different countries, there is no always possibility for women to stand against men, but waiting for a moment when the situation will change, and then we will have a knowledge how to do it. And about financial education, I always think that in all areas we need it, because we always need to manage our financial resources, at least our financial resources. And that's why even you are a doctor, you are a good journalist, you still need to manage financial resources, your own money. That's why some knowledge about finance, even if you are not at all in financial sector, in financial field, it's still needed some basic courses about personal investment, how to do simplest investment. So this, I think, could be introduced also in other sectors and fields of studies that are not at all connected with finance.
Thank you so much, Ramona. And Catherine, you have a question. Catherine is the research fellow of the WRC, and also she's from the Hungary, Dunajvars, but originally with the Nigeria. She's doing in feminism, woman entrepreneur, some kind. And Catherine, you could also reach to the Melinda. Melinda just dropped the email in chat, and she's also doing some kind of research in the feminist approach and also the gender studies. Thank you. Give your
Okay,
question.
thank you so much. I already took her email, by the way. I already saved it, so I'll be communicating to her. Thank you so much, Ramona, for that presentation. My question is similar to the last one. So not so much as asking questions about something in the curricula. My concern will be more focused on how to modify teaching communication.
Tamás felhívják engem, be tudsz már hagyni Women in Diplomacy, vagy
Someone interrupted.
Okay.
Like someone started to speak.
So how to encourage this communication that tends to keep women where they were, I mean, before all of this movement started, in the place of patriarchy, where there was something in your presentation about the percentage of men who would take more risk.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of, you mentioned also now that most women are educated in Europe and all of that. So regardless of even this level of education, this disparity is still there with between men and women who will take more risk with investment. You know, women would rather just grow the money gradually and all of that. So how do we put this in the curriculum, in the communication of teachers, you know, or community leaders, or, you know, to motivate more women to go into this risk level of going into investments? You know, how do we put these in the communication? It's not as much as curricular. It's more, for me, to do with modifying how we communicate this. Even when we are talking about STEM, you know, the way even teachers, even feminine teachers, the way they tend to separate the lines between where boys should go and where girls should go. How do we intentionally help teachers, you know, to put this communication right so that they don't continue to bring this separation, you know, sometimes unconsciously they do this. So there has to be that intentionality with communication to say, you know, let's blur the lines about where the boys should go or where the girls should go. And even in the place of finance, let's blur the lines, so that women will be more confident, to go into investment without the fear that, okay, I might lose my money or things like that. This is all I have. I will not be able to get more and all that. Okay.
Yes, thank you. You addressed many actually questions, and if I will be more closely to investment field, yes, we are really like female. We don't like risk. I think that it's good when you understand, like you have information, so you understand if you are investing in shares, there is such risk. If you choose bonds, there is such possibilities. If you do this, there is such possibilities. And we as humans are very different. Some people are able to hold risk. Some people are not able to take any risk, so they are not feeling comfortable. And I don't think we need even to push them to do it, because I myself is more passive investor, and I also like safe investment. So I don't like to risk a lot. I'm more saver by my nature. So I don't think that I need to change myself and be now an active investor. So it's our nature. So we just think information what you can choose, and then if you are well informed, you can make better decisions. But I think with social media now, boys and girls are less separate, and it's going to change in the future. So maybe we will have more female in traditional men professions.
Thank you so much, Ramona. Laman, you have a question? You raised your hand.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you, Professor Ramona.
Just to brief the story, Laman Alarzeva is also the research fellow of the WRC. Actually, she's in the applied science spaces, like in terms of the field, and she's teaching the mechanical engineering and the mechanism at Azerbaijan State University of Economics at the applied science and engineering faculty.
Thank you, dear Nargis. It was a really very interesting presentation, despite of the fact that I'm really away from this research. I'm interested in one thing that you told that you talked about the power of women in finance. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm interested in what does it mean to be a woman in finance today?
No, my point of power is like we are different from men, so we are not so confident. We like to get some recommendations. We are asking for help, for assistance. We need advisors to discuss. And for us, it's very important to communicate with other females that are doing this. Like, and if I know that my colleague is investing and doing this, so it's for me like a pattern to follow. Less for men, I think, like, we are different how we behave, and that I thought that even if it's considered that some weaknesses, so call it, that we are not so active in investment, less confident, but on the other hand, we're not overtaking risk, and as a result, in long term, this more safe investment can even provide you higher income in long term. If we compare 10 years results or 15-year results, I was meaning that this could be our power, that we are different and behave differently than men. But of course, it's unique characteristics. Some men are more women, some women are more men by the behavior. So it's not a gender that decides how you will behave in investment world. It's more a character of a person, not so much gender.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ramona, for your great presentation and for answering the questions in details. Now I would like to move on to our next speaker, our dear colleague, friends, and the research fellow of the Women Researcher Council and the valuable Dean of Kaleti Karola Faculty of Business and Management at the University of Abuja from Hungary, Professor Monica Fodor-Garay, Associate Professor, Doctor, and Habil. And the stage is here, and she will be discussing about her research, sustainability, and consciousness among Generation Z.
Thank you very much. Sorry about the delay because I had some technical difficulties, to tell you the truth, because I see you via my laptop, but there is no any voices. So I use my phone at the same time. I hope you can hear and see me, and I hope I can share my presentation with you. So sorry about that. And first of all, I try to share my presentation. Okay. And I hope you can see my first PPT slide. Okay, so first of all, let me say thank you for this really very honorable chance. So really thank you so much to join to you and to learn a lot from you. I try to do my best, and I would like to share with you our current research results, just in a nutshell, of course, because we deal a lot with the new generation Z, because I think as a professor, as a teacher, we need to understand this new generation. So that's why we focus on this new generation concerning to our current research project. And let me say some words about the main cause of to choose this topic, because I think it is absolutely very well known for all of us that we have to face so many challenges at that time came from very different areas. And I think it is also important to know that in an area of dynamic changes of the 21st century, characterized by technological advances, global challenges, the transformation of social structures, I think the relevance of new generations in shaping society and innovative solutions, they represent is, in our opinion, indisputable. And it is also important to highlight it that youth orientation, self-awareness, development of strengths and talents are both individual and social responsibilities. They become who and what they shape society and the world through a complex process that we can influence and do something about. And Generation Z, I think it is also well known for all of us that grown up in a world where digital technology, internet, social media are absolutely natural part of their everyday lives. And the digital space permeates their daily lives, and education, entertainment, and finance are no expectation. And because we could see and we could learn a lot from these areas in the previous presentation as well. And this generation growing up in this type of environment have the capacity, in our opinion, to find innovative solutions to current social, economic, and environmental problems, which is vital for a sustainable and of course, an inclusive future. And the new generations are increasingly reject the traditional consumer model, and which is a very big obstacle and challenge for all of us who deal with marketing. And they are looking for alternative solutions that have less impact on the environment and promote social justice. And the new generation, we think, tends to formulate a more sustainable and inclusive vision of the future, which includes rethinking education, labor market, urban planning, social policy. And of course, we see that they are voicing their views in number of forums, which is absolutely understandable, of course. So in a short conclusion, I think the societal shaping influence of the new generations and the innovative solution they represent are not only relevant, but essential to shaping future societies in a sustainable and more inclusive and accepting way. And I think this is I think the generation marketing and generation differentiation is also a very well-known phenomenon for all of us, because I think we know that we can use the generation differentiation as a very good segmentation criteria in case of the marketing practice. Just let me say an example. Meg Grindle, who has a very professional study and analyzed the Z generation, what could be the most important factors that influence this new generation in case of a career path. And based on Meg Grindle's researches, we could say that learning and development opportunities, career development, to have a very good leader were the most important factors for the generation that in case of a career path. And this preference list is absolutely different than in case of Generation X or a baby boom, or for example, Generation Y. So that's why, so these are the most important elements or factors or drivers which influence us and motivate us to deal with generation. And let me say some words concerning to the research methodology. What we analyzed during our primary research, because this presentation I would like to share with you the first step of our research project. It was the first step of our primary quantitative research methodology project. In that case, we used standardized questionnaires, novel sample taking methods, and standardized questionnaire, which I mentioned you. And with the help of that, we could achieve 226 variable questionnaires, respondents. But it is also important that it was the pre-test for our research project. Nowadays, we could extend our sample. Nowadays, we have 2020 questionnaires which we can analyze. So the main aim of this research was to understand what the generations that think about the conscious lifestyle, what they think about their conscious life and activities, and what could be the proper way towards this new generation to increase their sensitiveness towards the environmental challenges and issues, and to increase their self-awareness, and to increase their consciousness as well. And during this step of our primary research project, we focused on to analyze two main hypotheses. According to the first hypothesis, the perception of self-consciousness of one's lifestyle and the opinion, or we can say attitude about conscious livings, are related to each other. And according to our second hypothesis, there is a link between individual values and the practice of conscious living. And it is also important to highlight it that the second hypothesis came from the so-called value-oriented consumer behavior models, because these models strengthen that all of the decisions which we make as a consumer or a customer or a people came from our value orientation. And this model, which we would like to validate in that research project, in that generation, in that case, in case of Generation Z. At first, we asked our young people what they think the conscious living in case of an absolutely spontaneous association. And based on the information, we could see that we live, so based on the information, we can see that we live consciously based on the generations, that when we have empathy for the environment around us. In addition, it was particularly interesting for me to tell you the truth that young people spontaneously associated with planning, development, goal setting with a conscious living. It was a surprise for me because it told us that they are much more conscious than we thought. And consciousness, according to the young people, is therefore a combination of taking care of our health, nurturing our social relationships, and having a balanced relationship with our environmental. And after that, we also asked the young people what they think they live consciously themselves. And we could say that they think that they live consciousness according to the results. And we also asked them what they think the impact of their own generation is on sustainability. And based on the results, we could say that young people consider themselves to have a very important impact on sustainability. So it was at first a very positive feedback for us. And after that, we turned to, sorry, I forgot to split my PPT. Sorry about that. Yes, I mentioned you. Sorry. Yes, and we turned to analyze our hypothesis one in the next step. It was. In our opinion, it is a correlation between the perception of conscious living and a positive overview of the conscious living as overall. And the results of the correlation test, the variance analysis, which we used to analyze this hypothesis, confirm this hypothesis. So it can be said based on the results that young people who self-reported living more conscious and their lifestyle tended to agree more with all of the statements that support the benefits and the holistic nature of the conscious lifestyle. And young people who admit not to not living consciously are not yet sufficiently aware to the benefits of conscious living. According to these young people, it was also very important result. The majority of their own generation also see conscious living as a fashionable, trendy phenomenon. So these results, we think that highlighted the importance of the education, because it seems that the young people not exactly know that what the conscious lifestyle mean exactly. So that's why we need to educate them based on these research results. And in order to get more comprehensive picture of the context in which young people experience living a conscious lifestyle, we also looked at their values, because we believe that the value can drive all of our behavior and all of our decision. And based on the results, we could see that the most important values for the young people are happy life, friends, good human relations, and health. It was not a surprise because there are the absolutely traditional classical values and value orientation. And in the next step of the research, we examine that whether there is a relationship between the individual values and the practice of the conscious living. The hypotheses were based, as I mentioned you before, the value-oriented consumer behavior models that demonstrate that the impact of the individual value system on consumer attitudes and consumer decisions. But the results of the one-way analysis, we could say that there is no any relationship between these factors. So it seems that this consumer behavior model cannot adopt in that case. And in the next step, we try to understand why, what could be the problem, or what could be the main obstacle, and how we can find the inconsistency in case of these results. And to understand that, we segment our sample. We created key 1 and key 2 segment. The key 1 was the young people who consider themselves to be living self-aware lifestyle. This is the key 1 segment. And key 2 was the young people who don't consider themselves to be living a self-aware lifestyle. And after that, we compare the value orientation of this segment. And the results showed that the young people who consider themselves to be living self-aware lifestyle overestimated all of the dimension of the value orientation which we analyzed, except the sustainability and the environmental awareness. 2 key values which could be the most important in case of conscious lifestyle. So it was a very serious inconsistency. And these differences in values suggest that there may be a large number of people, of young people, living self-conscious lifestyle who are likely to have misconceptions about conscious living. They may believe that they are living a conscious lifestyle based on the information which they can collect from social media, internet, or any influencer. But in reality, this lifestyle is not a sustainable, connotative one based on individual values. Just as there may be many young people who don't live a conscious lifestyle, they may, in fact, be many who are more committed to it. So these results really highlighted for us the importance of relevance of providing young people with correct and professional information concerning to the healthy and conscious lifestyle. And as a conclusion concerning to the main research results, we could see that conscious living is most closely linked to healthy living in the mindset of the young people. In addition, the second most important aspect of self-awareness, self-development, followed by the good human relations, harmonious coexistence with the environment. So at first we could see a very positive attitude towards this phenomenon, towards these issues. The research was able to prove that there is a correlation between the perception of the conscious lifestyle and the living unconscious lifestyle. So it means that those who consider their own lifestyle to be a conscious also have a more positive perception of the conscious lifestyle as overall. And in this research, we could not provide a relationship between the individual values and the practice of the conscious life, conscious living. When we examined the result in more details, we found that young people's perception of their self-conscious lifestyle don't necessarily reflect the reality and are not a persistent form of behavior resulting from their individual values. And that's why we think and we believe that it is very, very extremely important to use the proper way, the proper messages, tools, platforms in case of Generation Z to provide them correct and professional information on healthy and conscious lifestyle. And I think it would not correct if I preach water and drink wine. So let me say some words, but we do exactly in the practice to help these young people. In the last semester, we announced a special course for our students, a special mentor and coaching course, when we step by step try to increase the self-awareness of these young people, to increase their sensitiveness towards the environmental questions and challenges and issues. At first, we offered them workshops where they can collect some professional and correct information concerning to these phenomena which I mentioned you before. And after that, we provide them with some face-to-face interviews, focus interviews, where we can personalize the information and the mentor program based on the request of the Generation Z. And after that, we also try to find proper new generation members who can be the opinion leader, who can spread this program among their own networking, who can collect the new students who can apply for that mentor and coaching program. And we really try to rely on these opinion leaders because based on the first feedbacks, it seems that the generation for the Generation Z could be the proper way and could be the most trustful informator who came their own generation. So we really believe that we can increase the number of the students who apply for these special courses in the future. And I hope I can share with you next time, maybe much more successful results and colorful results concerning to not only our primary research project, but the practice as one. So it was all from my side, and really thank you very much once more for this really very honorable chance to be here, to a member of that absolutely phenomenal group. And thank you so much, Nargis, to organize this excellent event. Thank you for your kind attention once more.
Thank you, Monica, dear colleague. You're valuable for us, all of you. Actually, thanks for your interesting presentation. Just one question I'm interested in which area you conduct the research? I mean, like within the academy or like the social random interview or the survey in Budapest or maybe in other area?
Sure. As I mentioned you, it was a snowball making method. It means that we focus on at first our students. They came mainly in Budapest. Yes, that's why I highlighted you that this is the pretest of our research results. But nowadays we have, I mentioned you, 2,000 respondents who came from all of our countries. And we also would like to extend our research project into the international areas, because I think the Generation Z is not the same in Hungary, in the USA, and in other regions. So that's why we would like to compare these results in the future, which we can collect from the international world.
Exactly, exactly. I think that we have the same research which you mentioned here with Azerbaijan as well. That's why.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
exactly, exactly. So I am asking the Azerbaijan students who are joining us today, and I will send the survey to you. Just try to fill in because the Monica is doing research in these cases together with one of the doctorate student at the University of Abu Dhabi. I think that we could try to contribute much more to know the exact results of the survey as well. Thank you so much for your
Definitely.
consideration. And today, our new associate member, Hiranya from the Sri Lanka, I would like to introduce her to your attention, and she will give one questions to you, Monica, about your research. Please, Hiranya.
Thank you, Nagis. Thank you, Nagis. Actually, Professor Monica's presentation is really interesting. As I also engage in that research area. In Sri Lankan context, I have done 2 studies related to this sustainability consciousness, and I observed that the same type of research in your country also, because it's around 3 average consciousness. Then I have a small question from Professor Monica. What do you think about the environmental consciousness, that is sustainability consciousness, difference between Generation Z and other generations?
So thank you very much once more, and thank you for your questions. I think it is needed to understand at first the generation differentiations, because I think the most different between the generations came from their value orientation. And in my opinion, the value orientation is is a very strong link into the environmental issues and the environmental consciousness as well. So that's why I think, and based on our research results, the most sensitive generation is the Generation Z. But it is also needed to know that most of these generation are currently students, so they don't have own money and so on. So they spend not their own money, but the parents' money. And if we analyze the preference list, it is not the correct way to understand the main motivation behind of their decisions. And if we not focus on the environmental and sustainable consciousness from the aspect of value orientation, but extend that what we do exactly in our daily life, we could see that the X generation are much more environmental consciousness than the Z1, that the Z1 in case of the action. But I think these results came not from the attitude of the different generations, but the social and economical background of this generation, because the economic background is also very different in case of Generation Z and in case of Generation X.
Thank you so much, Professor Monica. It's a really interesting presentation, and actually, thank you so much for WRC. It's interesting event organized. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We don't hear you.
Please.
Yes, thank you, dear Monica, for your presentation. Actually, I don't have a question related to your research, but my question is it possible to share your presentation with us? Like, can you send it to us by email? I would like
Sure, definitely. It's no question. It is my pleasure. And I will share with you with a pleasure the current articles which we created based on the results, because it was, as I mentioned, you a short wrap up. So just in a nutshell, which I can share with you. So with pleasure, and it is a very honorable question. So thank you, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, Alama, I will drop the email of Monica, or Monica just drop the email of her here in the chat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure. So the final and the next and the final presenter is Professor Kiran Sood, our friend and colleague from the Chitkara University, who is also the research fellow of the Women Researcher Councils of Azerbaijan State University of Economics. We have very good collaboration in terms of the books, proceedings, and thanks for the contribution of the Monica and also the Kiran for the contribution to the East Conference, which was held in 2024 in June. Were invited as a keynote speakers as well to the conference as well. We remember the good times together. And she will be talking about the gender equality, key to unlocking the social progress. The stage is yours, Kiran. So, Monica, could you stop the sharing the screen so that Kiran could share? Yep, exactly. Thank you.
I hope my screen is visible and the slide is also visible. Is that so? Can you see the slide?
Yes, it's visible, Kiran.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from India. So thank you, Nargis, for organizing such a beautiful platform where we are exchanging our insights, information. So that's really wonderful. And today I am in front of you, will be sharing my views on the topic of gender equality. I have witnessed something from Ramona and now something from Monica that was really great insights. So I would like to add upon from my knowledge of wisdom. So basically, I hope you all know that the entire world is focusing on global goals. We call it UN goals, and there are 17 goals, right? And out of those 17 goals, there is one goal that is targeting this gender equality. That's the goal number 5. So in order to bring sustainability, let's say there are 17 goals. So this goal particularly, which is which is like targeting gender equality, which is the goal number 5, is equally contributing and fulfilling the requirement of achieving sustainability to the entire group of member states. So basically, this has two parts: what is gender equality and what is basically social progress. Social progress can be measured from various aspects. Let's say right to education, right to teach, right to information, right, elevation poverty, reducing the mortality rates, etc., etc. But is this enough, right? So simultaneously, that this global goal of gender equality, that really matters to us, as we all know what basically gender equality means to us. So gender equality, which is the 5th goal of these 17 goals, talking about equality in terms of resources, equality in terms of the leadership roles available in front of us, equality in terms of financing opportunities, equality in terms of job opportunity. So basically, it focusing on various aspects, and there are different angles. Achieving those angles, we can bring, and we can, up to some extent, we can say, reduce the gap which is between men and women. And we all know that gender equalities, there is no doubt about it, that this is the first foremost human right, where we want equal access to all the resources. We want freedom, we want opportunities. We have seen the world, the transformatory move, we have seen the fintech evolution in our life, but are we equal accessing all those resources? So as I've already said, that we are moving towards the global goals. So achieving this goal, which is the goal number 5 of gender equality, will definitely help in achieving the GDP by $12 trillion by 2025. This is according to a report by McKinsey and Company. And as we have seen, there are so many diseases which that most of the economies are witnessing. For example, I've just taken one example of HIV prevention. So focusing on this global goal, which is equality, gender equality, will definitely prioritize gender equality, and this will help in reducing the rates of HIV infectious among women. And see, we know that everybody is contributing towards the goal of achieving sustainability. But what is the role of women? Women will do wonders if we can include them. But in order to bring sustainability, we have seen that even the researchers have shown that women, particularly, they are contributing more in terms of achieving sustainable farming practices. They are more inclined towards adopting natural practices. So that's why we have seen this women as environmental protectors. They are, they are more gender inclusive environmental policies. So that's why this will give more positive environmental outcomes. Uh, One more aspect which I was just thinking in my mind, I was reading an article few days back where I have seen we follow recruitment process at various angles, where we have different kinds of industry, where different types of recruitment process is going on. So, for example, one term which I would like to share here, the blind recruitment. Although this blind recruitment process, it do has some pros and cons. So, what are the good things related to blind recruitment process? That this can be included at initial screening, because I have seen personally many times when you see the applicants are applying for different types of jobs. Sometimes this happen looking at the gender, male and female. Sometimes we just reject the application. Oh, the application is coming from a female side. So we can put a restriction, a bar, a standard here by implementing blind recruitment process, not to the entire channels, not to the entire stages, but yeah, at least for initial screening, right? And there are different types of recruitment process which different kinds of organizations are going through. For example, the keyword matching is the another important aspect where we can pay attention and overcome this problem related to gender bias while selecting men and women, right? And there are different other aspects also. For example, one of the most important example which I have read somewhere, that identify reveal for the final rounds, particularly where we can qualify the interview, or you can say the screening, or you can say the final selections based on their audio, right? So that audio can be considered one of the important criteria, where audio can be considered while taking various decisions as compared to face interviews. Because normally it's been said that, or I have seen from my personal experience, I got one rejection in my lifetime where I applied for a marketing job and I was rejected, just keeping this in interviewers mind that I was a female. So that's the another issue that can be highlighted. One more example which I would like to mention here, we know the big four companies, right? KPMG is one of them, PW House is one of them. So similarly, Ernest and Young is one of the big four company who has also introduced this criteria in order to hire more female, more girl students in their process of hiring. So what they have done, EY have also introduced this blind recruitment process, and the focus was given more to grades. So they have hidden the gender based question while taking applicants from the various institutes and universities. So this is the just one example which can be considered. And yes, this is the another very simple example which I would like to mention here, which I have seen, that the Iceland was one of the greatest example where they have achieved those standards, and this was the first country to legally enforce the equal pay standards, which is not possible, and most of the countries are facing this issue. So they have tried to maintain this standard where introducing equal pay standards for male and the female as well. And we have witnesses so many examples where we can see, oh, these are the, biases, gender biases. Let's say when we talk about pay gap, then there are so many fields, there are so many levels. For example, Hollywood, Bollywood, where we have seen male comparatively are being paid more as compared to female, right? In India, if we see that women spend on an average 299 minutes per day on unpaid domestic work, we have seen it, as compared to 97 minutes in case of male. This is the data taken by NSSO. Apart from that, yes, access to education, that's a right towards education. We have seen so many countries where they have witnessed, particularly the females, they have witnessed these issues. Taliban, Afghanistan is one of the example. And yes, this is just a very small case and a success story. This lady was famous, Malala Yousafzai. We have witnessed that. She has done a wonderful job in order to cater the needs of youngest girls. What she has done now, I hope you all know her. This Pakistani activist for girls' education was shot dead by Taliban in 2012, and she was also a Nobel Prize winner. And she continued to advocate the education and the women rights globally. And this is one of the great inspiration and a great example for all of us. As we all know that political representation is the another important place where women can excel, right? But yes, unluckily, we again are facing a lot of issues. Women occupy only just 26% of parliamentary seats worldwide. So that just because of this much of presence, which is just 26%, this is limiting our decisive powers which we can represent at a world level, particularly in political areas, or this is hindering our leadership skills. So under this, I would like to give you an example. I hope this needs no introduction. Hillary Clinton, who is a great personality and who has played a great role, the first lady from 1993 to 2001, and the and she has really done wonderful achievement in the era of healthcare reforms, and she pushed a very great, wonderful program which is focusing on health insurance. She fought for women's rights, she fought for children's welfare, social justice. So that was a wonderful example. And this is one of the greatest example. She contributed a lot in terms of policy addressing education. She contributed a lot in terms of family planning and human rights. So talking about violence, I hope it's everywhere, right? All the countries, the entire world is also witnessing this issue. That's the violence against women. That's why we are here to discuss these issues. Gender biased violence, human trafficking is very popular, right? Social cultural disparities are there. Early age marriages, child marriages. In India, there are a lot of parts, there are a lot of section states in India where still we have this problem of child marriages. As I've already said, that women contributing sustainable development goals, but with this curse of child marriage, they are hindering our goals towards sustainability. So child marriage is like a curse, including dress codes, mobility restrictions. These are the another issues which everybody is witnessing. Occupational segregation, I would be talking about further in my slides, where we can see that these are different kinds of educational backgrounds. These are different kind of industry where normally less attention has been paid to women. Normally, if you talk about women, we call it pink collar jobs are there, but reality is not true. We have seen many examples where women are crossing the barriers, be it's defense industry, be it's pilot, be it's leadership roles. Malala Yousafzai is one of the example who is breaking the barriers. Digital divide, when I was witnessing the presentation of Ramona, so I just thought of adding it. Digital divide, we are living in the world of tech savvy. I was witnessing the presentation of Monica where she was talking about Gen Z. So Gen Z is what? That's the tech savvy people. But yes, even in this Gen Z generation, it's the women who is still lagging behind. Access to technology is there, but access of technology to women is not up to the mark. I would say here education can play the role of multiplier. Now, why I'm saying that education will be treated as a multiplier, because if women will be provided with adequate amount of education, then this will helps in overcoming a lot of issues. This will helps in reducing the mortality rates. This will help in bringing more national income, more employment. Money makes money. So yes, access to technology, and this will helps in bringing financial inclusion in the society, right? I have seen one more thing, let's say access to assets and access to, let's one example I would like to give here, access to bank accounts. Since I was talking about the technology access, so these are certain aspects where we can see the presence of men is more as compared to women. So digital knowledge, digital awareness is the another important move that has to be taken care. Focusing on male centric industries like technology, I was talking about that. Fintech is that buzzword in our life where, again, women powered startups are nowadays growing, but comparatively it's not that the way men startups are in the business, right? So technology trends are there. Construction is the another site where we see this is we it's like a stereotype, this construction is not supposed to or not meant for women, but yes, we should overcome this gap. And that's why this is one of the important reasons. Mining and extractive industries, normally highly danger prone areas, where we have seen again women are lagging behind. Focusing on another important industry, which is engineering. Women constitute only 16% of engineers in developed countries like US as compared to other countries. For example, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, now I have seen some improvements are there. Personally, I have seen women are taking admission in civil engineering, but again, we complete our graduation when comes to related to jobs, then you will again see the picture is again there's a huge gap that women are coming less in the picture as compared to men are coming into the picture. Now, focusing on, yes, military and defense, women represent only 10% of armed forces in most of the countries. There are several reasons behind, right? Be it's a physical aspect, right? So there are a lot of challenges are there. High rates of sexual harassment is the another concern, who's not bringing women up front in military institutions. Combat roles only recently open to women in some countries. So this is the another sector or another industry where we have seen a huge gender gap between men and women. Finance and investments, as I've already said, that access to technology, access to knowledge, financial inclusion, where women is again lagging behind. In this sector, women hold only 18% of executive positions. And there is the culture of Wall Street, which is often criticized, where it's male dominated culture with fewer participation coming from women in trading, private equity, hedge funds. So that should be catered so that we can achieve collectively this global goals, where the fifth goal is focusing towards gender equality. Automotive industries is the another example focusing the same issue, a huge gender gap. Sports is the another example, again focusing the same issue. Would like to mention an example over here. This is an Indian, has raised three children, and she was an Olympic medalist, and she's a great example. Boxer, politician, and former member of Rajya Sabha, breaking all the barriers and standing and won the Olympic medals. So this is just one example. I'm using examples so that we can motivate ourselves, so that we can motivate the world. Aviation is the other example. Again, there is a huge gap, right? Oil and gas is the other example where women hold only 22% of the jobs in oil and gas industry, mostly in support roles like HR and finance. See, now focusing on HR, focusing on teaching. If we ask somebody, there is again a stereotype that these types of jobs are only meant for whom? For women. So that's, we have to break this stereotype that women are equally efficient. They have full capacity to stand in front of and breaking the barriers. Law and enforcement, where again women talking about, it's just 11% of the police officers. Again, there are high rates of harassment have been noticed here in this particular domain, where there's a huge gap between men and women. And now this is the latest list I've just taken. If you can see, the list is talking about top 10 richest people in the world as of December 2024. If you witness each one of them, you will not see a female falling in this category in the world richest person in the world. So maybe there are several reasons behind. I have just given few reasons, few examples that uh, that is witnessing this problem of this huge gap between men and women. So yes, one more example would like to share with all of you. Indra Nooyi is one of the great former CEO of PepsiCo company, breaking all the barriers. Under his entrepreneurship, she has raised the graph, right? The turnover of PepsiCo company. According to her, if you don't give people the chance of fail, you won't innovate. Very beautifully said by her. If you want to be an innovative company, then you should allow people to commit mistakes. So that's one of the greatest example. And yes, I don't think I need to give any introduction about this queen of the pop, where Madonna has breaking again the barriers. She is into a career of writing also, directing also, a musician, dancer, and cultural icon. Now there is a portrait which is being depicted on her character, and where the Julia Garner is playing the role of Madonna. So this is one of the greatest example that can be shared in order to break the barriers of this male and female. This is another wonderful example, the Queen Elizabeth. In a span of in her span, I have, if I'm not wrong, she has personally witnessed 15 prime ministers of British. So this really needs no example. One last example which I would like to share: Emma Watson, a popular actress from a movie Harry Potter. And she is not just an actress, she is literally working hard for bringing the issue of women's rights and gender equality. And she has a campaign, He for She campaign, which really doing a great job in order to overcome or highlight this issue. And sorry, this was the last example, Marissa Mayer, who's the former CEO of Yahoo, a great picture. So this just I wanted to share with all of you that we really need to invest in gender equality, because if we are contributing in terms of breaking the barriers, reducing the gap, I hope we will be able to contribute and uplift the global goals. So this was from my side.
Thank you so much, Kiran, for the comprehensive information about the gender gaps in all the fields. Thank you so much. And those statistics are also very interesting. And Saida is just rushing. She's really busy and would like to ask one question. So, Kiran, you know Saida, you know each other. And Saida, please, the turn is yours. You need to please open your voice.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kuran, and all the presenters for their good presentation. So I reached out some good points from your presenting, and it's not question, but I just mentioned a few things. So, Azerbaijan is the very, very first country who had given the women for the right to vote for their democracy. So it's the very, very first country from the all global. But unfortunately, today we also suffer from the inequality between the gender, like the women and men. So it's the same for the workplace, and it's the same for the, for example, child marriage in the north part of the Azerbaijan. So I mean, I think it's a global problem in all around the world. So thank you, Kiran, for reaching out some points, and hopefully we will manage everything for the good and equal world. Thank you. Thank you, Nergis, also for organizing this kind of good organization. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question in my chat box. I don't know the name of the, yes, but I would like to
Catalina,
answer.
yes, she also answered.
Yeah,
Just try to answer
yes, the
two of the
question,
questions.
exactly. Let me read the question. How the role of academia in achieving gender equality as a part of social progress? Yes. See, nowadays, I hope you would have seen every organization, be it education or be it any industry, they are talking about CSR, if I'm not wrong, right? So, in order to fulfill the requirement of CSR, sometimes we involve everyone, all the stakeholders, particularly students, to guide, to teach so that the awareness is normally being created by visiting to let's say personally experience in my university. We normally include students where we would bring students to villages, particularly to primary school or maybe to any senior secondary school, where they teach them about, let's say, financial inclusion, right? And so many other things. So that's one of the greatest example where the people, particularly the girl child, normally come to know about their rights or many other things, right? Let's say right to education or right to use technology, and etc etc. So yes, with the help of CSR we can up to some extent raise the bars and reduce this gap, which is a gender gap.
So yes, please, Nigar, introduce yourself and give your question.
My name is Nigar Bagirova. I'm from Azerbaijan, from Western Caspian University in Azerbaijan. Thank you, Nargis Khanum, for giving me access to this conference. It was were very interesting discussions. I was involved and I listening these discussions, but my specialty is legal regulation of economy. And always when I hear about gender equality, I always think over one questions, and I would like to give a brief information and then formulate my question. In 2023, Nobel Prize winning economist Goldwyn detailed the benefits of overcoming gender inequality. Involving women's labor in the economy will have a beneficial effect on economic efficiency. But there is a global initiative of the World Bank for the development of human capital, which states that the productivity of 60% of children born today will be half of what they could be achieved with education and good health. In this regard, I would like to emphasize the benefits of breastfeeding and its impact on abilities gaining knowledge for children. Do you think society should provide any benefits to women during breastfeeding for this period of time, as women can be considered as supplier of qualitative good human capital?
See, as per your question, yeah, that's the basic requirement, because normally it has been said that health is wealth. So yes, just like we provide in India, free education, or let's say to some schools free meals during lunch. So yes, that's the possibility, and government should really think about providing these facilities, particularly to the women who is feeding at that time. Because if they do not feel healthier, I don't think so they will be able to contribute in any other areas. Because until you feel healthy physically fit, you won't be able to pursue anything in your life. So a healthy mind lives in a healthy body. So that's the basic requirement. Yes, if government is definitely taking some steps towards it, so that's really commendable.
Thank you for your question, for your answer, and thank you for interesting presentation.
So Nada, you have a question, please reach.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nargis Hajieva. Thank you so much, Dr. Kiran Sood. So, Dr. Kiran Sood, you talk about women's equality, gender equality. So, I just need to know what does public awareness and advocacy play in, what role does public awareness or advocacy play in dismantling gender stereotypes? And the second question that I have is, can you talk about strategies that work on multiple levels? Because obviously, gender discrimination happens on multiple levels simultaneously. Like a woman for being of a particular caste or color, she has to go through simultaneously she has to go through many levels of discrimination and face violence. So how can that be addressed, like be it economic, be it social, be it on any level? So that
See,
was my
breaking the
question.
barriers, breaking stereotypes, there are so many platforms. As I've already said, that CSR campaigns are there. Now, media is that powerful, pathway where using media, we can do wonders. So breaking stereotypes. See, if I say stereotypes, it is there. It is up to some extent. It is inbuilt, not in you and me, but yes, it is inbuilt in so many, not every single person. So yes, there is a stereotype talking about women is made for this, women is made for teaching. So self
Yeah,
awareness
absolutely.
is one of the great thing, but yes, nowadays media is one of that great platform in order to bring awareness of breaking all these stereotypes. Rest lies within you. Are you prepared for within? Means right. So we have seen, so like there are so many examples. If I would like to add something here, like in case of Muslim families, you are also from Muslim family. I have some Muslim friends also, where they are personally witnessing this problem. So how to overcome it? There are platform. So you have to, grasp those opportunities, right? So there is ample scope. We cannot restrict
And
ourselves within
media has a
by
big role.
saying
You mean to say media has a big role to play? Mass media can actually bring in a huge change.
exactly.
The
True,
television,
definitely.
advertising,
Yeah,
celebrities.
policies
Yeah.
are definitely there.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's the media. There are policies. So policies, it's a permutation combination effect, which I would like to say.
Thank you so much, Nada, for
Okay. Thank
for
you
your
so much.
questions.
So
Actually,
much, Dr. Nargis. Thank you so much for
you're
having me.
also welcome. Yeah, if you have any kind like the speech or would like to deliver some kind of wish, please feel free to say something about the forum. Just give recommendation or the insight for the future projects, what you would like to offer. We are open for this. The 5 minutes, and then we can close the ceremony.
Yes, dear Nargis, can I say one thing?
Yeah, sure, you're free.
First of all, I'm really grateful for this great organization. Thank you for your support to us. It was really very valuable for me. And here I saw some people, for example, Kiran. I'm very happy to see you again here. I hope you know me. You remember
Yes,
me?
I was earlier recalling, but yes, how can I forget you? Good to
Yeah,
see
thank you.
everyone.
Thank
True.
you. And I hope I will get now everyone here because all of you are very valuable to us. Thank you again.
Thank you. So Gülcennat from US. She's actually Azerbaijani, but she's doing PhD in US. Please feel free.
Hello everyone. Hi. Thank you so much for this amazing conference, and it was really great to know all of the scholars and meet all of you guys. And it was really, really interesting to listen all of the like different areas of the research, and that really motivated me as a PhD student. I really would like to hear more and do more of a like intersectional research, like interdisciplinary research that would really like open the doors to understand more about like what's going on the world, like from social sciences to finance to economy and to other like other science fields that we could really benefit of. One recommendation that I as a member would really love to have would be some kind of platform or like Google Listserv or maybe Microsoft Teams group or something like could serve as a platform where we can share like the upcoming conferences or research projects, get some kind of feedback from like anyone who has a time to collaborate or give some kind of feedback, and maybe also have like, I think this would also boost like opportunities for co-authoring and more like a collaborative nature within the organization, considering the fact that we are like in Europe, US and Asia and different parts of the world. That would be really cool to do so. And congratulations, everyone.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Gülcan. And you can also drop your email here just in case.
Yeah,
And
sure.
if you need any kind of researcher and the professor from the WRC, please reach me. You can also drop your email here in the chat.
Thank you.
And there is also one wish from Ayan. Thank you so much for your good work. I really appreciate. We do really appreciate. And if you have any wishes again, you can also open here.
Yeah, welcome everyone again. Hi, my name is Ayan. So I'm studying PhD in Azerbaijan, and my field is Azerbaijani literature. So specifically in the third part of my field, I'm talking about the women liberation and education for them. Also, my studying was including like inclusive education for all, like specifically for women. And this topic is really interesting for me. That's why I want to thank you all, because as I also mentioned before, financial inclusion is a great terminology that Ms. Kiran mentioned. I really appreciate it for this, because also we have one terminology related to the meritocracy. Meritocracy also supports this idea, like giving a hand to the people with different social backgrounds, like creating equality and equity for them, like to get education and etc. And it was really interesting for me, and thank you all. Just I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayan, for your wish. We also do really appreciate. So, any questions, proposal, offers?
Thank
Yes,
Thank you so much. Nargis, actually, thank you so much. It was a really nice forum. You have organized very successfully. I congratulate you. And then nice to see you, Dr. Kiran. Actually, I think we are contacting
Yes,
with
we are very
different.
much connected. Thanks to Nargis to bringing us together.
Yeah.
Yes, and then it was really interesting speech, gender equality. Actually, we also having the same problem as India, but now we have some different, because we are in Sri Lanka, our Prime Minister also lady, and then it's a educational lady. She was a lecturer previously, and then now our Parliament also this time around 10% representation this time. I think there's some significant change will be happen in Sri Lanka. That means it's maybe different. Actually, it was really wonderful, and I also think that if we can have a WhatsApp group like that, that is also very important. We can collaborate with each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hiranya. Hiranya is the new associate member of the WRC, the Women Researchers Council, and from Sri Lanka. I am happy because why I am happy, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all of you from bottom of my heart. And one thing is that in this forum, we are the only one that we are organizing the annual international forum compressing like more than 20 countries, which is really, interesting and very crucial issue for that. And I am also seeing my valuable colleague, the Orsalia. Dear Orsalia, dear friend, do you have any kind of wishes to send us or deliver?
Thank you very much for inviting me. It is always a great pleasure to see you, either on screen or on WhatsApp or anyhow. I am a lawyer and I am really looking forward to cooperating with you. And congratulations for Nargis. She's a young omnipotent angel being able to organize anything she wants. And again, she did something great. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Nargis.
so much, Orsalia. So Orsalia is from the Weiser University from Hungary, and she's the best lawyer and also the political economist. I think she's dealing with the economy issue, legal economy as well. And we have some kind of joint corporation. She's one of the active member of the WRC and the best representative of the one of the best representative of the WRC. So I think that if you need to reach together, I mean, like to contribute to each other in terms of the joint conferences and the Congress, we are also planning to hold like the next symposium next year in June in Hungary or Solia. And I think that you will be invited to the Oboda University because we are planning to have the next symposium in the form of the workshop, international workshop in June and May, something like this in Oboda University. And we will also invite you, all the Hungarian professor and the fellow of the WRC.
Thank you very much, and also a great gratitude to Monica as well. And thank you very much for
Thank
the
you so
kind
much.
invitation.
So, thank you so much for your presentation, for your time. We do really appreciate it. And we are with it as a WRC, and on my behalf, we are able to provide all the mentoring support free of charge for all of you. At the same time, you know that the UNEC Women Researcher Council has a collaboration with different kind of countries, the higher education institution in Europe and Asia, and we are able to provide some kind of CVP for the journals, CVP for the conferences, and also the workshop. Try to reach us via our email if you need any kind of guidance, the mentoring, some kind of collaboration, and also the supporting the some kind of joint conferences and also the projects of the consortiums as well. So thank you so much once again from Michigan. It's very cold. It's not warm greetings. It's freezing greetings from here. And it's just, let's say the 10 o'clock, let's say. And the greetings from Ann Arbor, Michigan. I am really happy, very pleased to see you because the WRC is the international forum. WRC is a global value. WRC is you. Thank you so much and have a nice day.
Thank you too.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Thank you. Good day. Good luck to everybody.